riding in the Dilerium tonight.
Oh, yeah. All right. Welcome to RSR. I'm tired of saying Rat Salad Review because every time I say review, it sounds weird.
It's a strange word.
It is a strange word, right?
Like drawer, you know?
Close that drawer. So tonight we have Troy Norr back with us. Welcome.
Howdy. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, no problem. You can come back as much as you want.
Can Naya come too?
Who's that?
Naya. Can Naya, the Great Dane, come back too?
Of course. Every week.
Yeah, she can even talk. It'll be great.
Hey, I can have that arranged. We can have her talking.
She sings, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she does.
Is she going to be on the next Them album?
Actually, she probably will be.
Oh, good.
One way or another.
That'll be interesting.
It most certainly will be.
Yeah. So how is everybody?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Same as always, right? Any music stuff going on? I just looked on Blabbermouth and there's absolutely nothing.
Oh, you mean you didn't hear Tommy Lee's newest fight with his son?
No.
Oh, too bad. Because that's the type of news we usually get, you know.
Nothing. No KK Downing sightings. No Corey Taylor.
Right.
No, nothing. Very strange. I did see something. What did I see? No, it was nothing important.
I didn't read any news, but I noticed Ozzy is doing another final tour, this time with Megadeth.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Another one.
Yeah.
Well, he had to cancel the tour when it started, right? Because he had some kind of infection in his hand or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I was referring to the one from 1990.
No, he started the No More Tears 2 tour like a few months ago, and then he had to stop it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I guess he's getting better now.
I haven't seen Ozzy since about 2005.
Really? I've never seen him.
No?
Nope. I never had what? You never saw
that infamous show at Nassau Coliseum with Ozzy and Metallica opening?
No. How long ago was that?
That was what, 80?
No.
87.
I was 8 years old.
So? Sorry, I'm showing my age now.
Yeah, you really are. No, my parents weren't into metal and stuff like that. You know, they wouldn't take me to a concert, especially Ozzy, out of anything.
My dad took me to see Iron Maiden during the Power Slave tour.
Really?
At Radio City.
Wow.
He promised to take me to see Kiss during that Kiss Alive run in '78.
Right.
But he fell short with that. He didn't take me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, my first concert was Iron Maiden. What the hell was the one where Bruce came back to do that Ed Hunter thing?
The greatest hits tour.
Yeah.
Right.
That was my first concert, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. I was pretty late to the concert scene.
Wow.
What was your first concert, Greg?
Kiss, actually. Reunion tour.
Okay.
Man, I'm old.
I'm afraid to ask. What was yours? Jesus?
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
Jesus and Bob Dylan.
Wow. I don't even know. Like what? Like club show or
what? The first one you ever saw?
Starland Vocal Band.
No. One of the first concerts I saw was at a club. It was Lemoore East. I was like,
okay.
Oh, cool.
17. No. And that was my first club show. That was Vinnie Vincent's Invasion.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's old.
Was that with Mark Slaughter? Or was that?
Yeah, it was Slaughter. It was
okay, cool.
Slaughter, yeah. And what was my first concert? Like concert? Would probably have to have been. It might have been Kiss. When did Animalize come out? You know what year? Was that 80?
Like 84.
84ish, right?
Yeah.
It would have been probably more than likely Kiss Animalize. That was that one.
Cool.
With Mark St. John.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Not a bad album. Not a bad album.
It's a pretty good album.
Yeah, it was. Interesting time for them.
Oh, that's right. It was Animalized tour because I wanted to go see Lick It Up when they unmasked.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my mother refused to let me go to any concert. So Animalized was the next one.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that. It was Kiss. Yeah, it was Kiss.
Yeah. I always wanted Kiss to be my first concert, but at the time, they just weren't doing anything. So I got second best, Iron Maiden. Can't go wrong with that.
And I wanted Iron Maiden to be my first. So.
Actually, it was cool at the concert that when I went to, they were at Hammerstein Ballroom. And me and my friends were all sitting at the top along the guardrail. And at the end of the show, Nico threw his stick out. My friend standing right next to me put his hand out and grabbed the stick. Like right next to, I put my hand out, his was right next to me, and he grabbed it. So he got lucky. But a few years later, he ended up giving it to me because he kept moving and going to different apartment, and he was going to lose the stick eventually. And he knew it had more sentimental value to me, because I play drums. So he gave it to me. So then I framed it and everything. So nothing will happen to it. It was a pretty cool experience for a first show.
Yeah, it's epic. That's epic.
Yeah. Yeah, the only other thing I got from a concert was a pic. I think KK Downing threw it to me when I saw it was Judas Priest, what the hell, a Heaven and Hell, a Testament, and I think maybe somebody else, but maybe not. But I was down the front for that at Jones Beach. That was a cool show. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't see that one.
No. Yeah, that was definitely a good show.
Yeah. I saw them with Megadeth, I think it was.
Oh, yeah. That's another band I've never seen live.
Megadeth?
Yeah, nope.
You've been great. You've been Megadeth.
Yeah.
No, wait. You've been great. How's it go, Greg? You've been great. We've been Megadeth.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I always love that. I saw them multiple times. So I love Megadeth.
I do, but his voice is a little weird live.
Yeah. He's a weird vocalist.
Yeah.
He's unique. He's definitely unique.
Yeah, definitely. He's good with the music,
Oh, he's fantastic songwriter.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen him in the 80s when he was all messed up and crazy, though.
I did.
Those were some intense concerts, man.
I saw them during the Peace Cells tour.
Oh, wow.
It was insane. I saw them at a club in Sundance. It was called Sundance on Long Island, one of the Long Island clubs. And they were amazing. And they were all drugged up. They were all drugged up playing. But it was just amazing. It was so
the best
tight.
time to see them.
Yeah, that was the pinnacle of their career. They were great. And the other time I saw them with, what's his name? Broderick, right? I saw them at the same venue you mentioned before about the other band you saw, Hammerstein Ballroom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I remember, I knew of him and I knew some of his playing and whatnot. He was a good guitar player, but then he started playing. And you could hear a pin drop when he was playing practically because he was just so amazing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people saying that, Kiko is better. I don't know. But I don't know about that. But Kiko is a great player. No two ways about it. But I don't know if he's better than Broderick. Some people think Broderick was just overrated. But he's like a master of multiple styles, not just metal.
Yeah.
He's a master classical guitarist. And he's awesome. He's just incredible. But I'm not like a fanboy of his, but I think he is amazing. He's an amazing guitar player.
Yeah, he was good in Jag Panzer.
Right. Yeah.
I just didn't like him in Megadeth because, maybe because the songs just weren't as good either when he was in Megadeth.
That time really was.
It was really bad. Like, not terrible, but it wasn't, typical Megadeth stuff. It was just weird.
Uh-huh.
Especially that Super Collider album. That was terrible.
That got panned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really bad. But the new album's good, though. And I like Kiko. I love Angra. Angra's really good.
Very good band.
And he brings that, like, a Brazilian kind of feel to, his guitar solos and stuff. So it brings a little something different in there,
Yeah, that flair. He has that flair.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So what's on the plate for today, Greg?
Ghost Ship Octavius and Helloween, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Oh crap! I forgot to bring it. Damn it! Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Guns N' Roses shirt.
I kept it on just for you.
Oh no. Yeah, I have an Attacker shirt.
Nice.
Attacker.
I've got a Judge Dredd.
That's awesome too, Judge Dredd.
That always reminds me of Anthrax.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Which actually,
that's one of the best songs off that record.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm the Law.
Oh, yeah.
I actually painted an Anthrax jacket many, many years ago when I was a teenager. When that came out, and I painted it, and it came out incredible, of Judge Dredd holding, from the single.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm the Law, where he's standing in front of a flag, and he's holding his gun. Came out great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You still draw?
No. I used to be. That's how I got involved with music. It's just I would listen to music. I loved painting. All right. When I was a teenager, I used to love painting jackets, and I painted numerous Iron Maiden, Wasp. What else did I paint? Ozzy. I think I did a Bark at the Moon. I did that I'm the Law. I did Megadeth. I did a whole bunch of covers, album covers. I do album covers. And while I would paint, I would listen to all my favorite metal bands, everything, and even King Diamond at the time, and it would just put me in a place to really be creative while painting. And I was pretty good. And I just stopped one day because I think I just got involved into the music as opposed to just imagining and thinking about it. I wanted to do it, and I started doing it, and it was like a transition for me. Yeah, it's a great time. It really took me away from any issues that kids have, like teenagers have.
Yeah, definitely.
Painting and music.
Yeah, I was the same way in high school. I drew on everything, like all the Trapper Keepers. I used to get them. I made sure I got the ones that were like that kind of cloth, like outside, so you can draw on them. I drew everything on them, and every time somebody would see my Trapper Keeper, they would go, "Oh, can you draw me that too?" So I had a lot of orders back then to draw things for people, but yeah, I kind of had the same experience because then once I got really into music and actually started playing into bands and stuff like that, the drawing kind of just like disappeared. And then I tried to get back into it not too long ago. I just don't have it like I used to at all.
Yeah,
it's a shame because I love drawing.
I did too. I did the same thing Troy did, painted jackets. The only one I have left is Somewhere in Time, but looks great. But same thing, I got involved with working on race cars like I was doing for a long time. I was a mechanic, and I just stopped painting, drawing, anything. And now I can't do it anymore.
Why not?
Well, because I've broken fingers a few times, so No, I've been thinking about getting a guitar again, but I tried drawing and it didn't turn out well. I'm good.
Stick figures are always easy to do.
Oh, stick figure massacres are the best. Crash a 747 into a field of them.
All right. So getting on to Helloween, let me show you how big of a fan I am of Chameleon. Record CDs.
Wow.
Cassette. Vinyl. All the singles. So that's how much I like Chameleon. Although I have every album like that, so it's nothing. I told you they're my favorite band. They can do no wrong. As you can see. Yeah. So, what do you want to talk about with Chameleon? Come on, bring it.
That it's not my favorite Helloween album.
Go right ahead.
Okay, let's see. How do I kick Troy off of this thing?
Bye, guys.
Just to overdub his voice later.
Yeah, to say it's my favorite.
I really love this album. It's great. It's my favorite one.
I do have to say that Kiske is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He could just go to the bathroom and sound awesome. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no two ways about it. He happens to be one of my favorite vocalist singers of all time.
Definitely.
He's phenomenal. But I mean, you know, and there's some really fantastic vocals on that album. I mean, it's was that 92, 93 that record came out?
93, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's 93, and if I'm not mistaken, that was his last record with the band.
Yep.
Right? And maybe they were a little disconnected. Maybe the whole scene was changing because grunge was blowing up by then, right? It was full blown. Like 92, 93, boom, blew up. Yep. And some bands, and I can relate to that. I mean, maybe you know, with the way the whole scene changed, like almost overnight, a lot of bands felt like, well, what do I do? Like, where do I go? You know,
how do we fit in?
How do we fit in? And a lot of bands changed, and there's a lot of. I mean, some critics will even say that record is very, very popish. You have horns on it. It's some funky stuff going on it. It's just, it almost sounds like they were listening to Extreme. And Extreme at one point, you know, with one of the songs. But you know, it's Helloween, you know, so they changed their formula a little bit. Yeah, there's some songs on there that, you know, I could still see that, you know, there's still like Helloween. But I mean, Kiske, though, he could sing anything.
He can sing the phone book.
Exactly. It wouldn't matter. He's awesome. Yeah. So that's my take on it, at least. But overall, it's probably one of my least favorite records. And I've been around that band live on 2 different occasions for 2.5 to 3 weeks, you know, and I heard every night some of their greatest songs, you know, and only until the last run when I was playing with them in 2016, I'll never forget the first night that they're playing, and you know, it was our first night. It was in Montreal, and they started playing. What was it? Helloween.
Right.
And that's my favorite Helloween song. And they didn't play the whole thing. I was pissed.
They played the edited version?
They made a medley of like 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah.
And I just was very upset because that is my favorite Helloween song of all time. And they're doing the full song with Kiske during Pumpkins United. And I couldn't go see that show. I was so upset.
He didn't go.
I couldn't go. I couldn't go. I was going to go.
Yeah.
And I actually had some friends that wanted to go, and then finally those friends were, I can't go. Okay, I'm going to go. I'll go by myself. I don't care. I'll see people there that I know. It don't matter. I'm going there to see the band anyway. And I couldn't go. I was so pissed.
You missed a good show. You missed a really good show.
I did, but they're recording another full length with that lineup. Yeah. And they'll do another extended world tour because, you know, that's their bread and butter.
Yeah, definitely.
So, without a doubt. So they made some good money, from what I understand, really good money, and they're not changing that formula anytime soon.
They shouldn't, because people want it.
They will definitely want it.
They've wanted it for years, and now that they keep the old members in the band still, you know, the people that were already in there, and then they keep Andy in there, which I think is, you know, was a great replacement for Michael Kiske. That's just awesome. You got 2 great singers in the band, well, and plus Kai too. If he even sings, I don't know, because he kind of gave up with Gamma Ray for a little bit with singing.
Yeah, I believe that he's singing too. But Andy's a pretty good singer. Yeah. I mean, he's not Kiske, but
no, he's not at all.
He's really good, and I've actually, you know, bumped elbows with him numerous times and saw some of his warm up techniques. It was very interesting. Yeah. I'll tell you one of them. The way he would warm up, he would go like this. I'm not kidding. Something like that. I'm actually exaggerating a little bit, but not too far off. Yeah. And I would be like, what does he do? You know? And I remember talking to him about it. He says, yeah, that's one of his warm-up techniques. And,
wow.
But it was very, very interesting.
Well, whatever works, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what about Greg? What does he think about Chameleon?
I like it. I think it's a really good record by them. Not necessarily one of my tops, you know, but still a good album. They do They switch up their style on it, but like you were saying, Troy, a lot of the songs are still basically Helloween. It's got that Helloween sound, and really, for the most part, they branch out and they still make it sound like them, even though they're doing something a little poppier. And I really like that funky bass line in that one song. It's different, it's cool, and it works well. There's really only one song I dislike on it, the windmill one.
I might have to agree with you on that too.
I like that. Reason why I like that one, personal reasons, because I used to play drums to this album every day, and then once in a while my grandmother would come over. She would hear me playing that song, and was always like, "You have to give me a copy of that song," because she really liked it. Because it's a slow song. Older people like slow stuff, so I always will like that song regardless of how kind of iffy it is. But it is what it is. The whole album is what it is, The only Halloweenish song on there is Giants.
Yeah. When the Sinner is a really good song, though.
Yeah. It's different,
Yes.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Also, too, the other reason why the album is like it is because they were going through a lot of shit with their record label at the time. So, nobody knew what they wanted to do. And like you said before, Troy, the music scene itself didn't know what they wanted to do. No. So, caused them tension within the band too. Because even the drummer, I don't even think he wanted to really finish the album. I think he wanted to leave or something around that time because he was just, the music wasn't the same anymore,
Right. I'm glad they did what they did instead of making a pseudo grunge album.
Right. Yeah. They did a little bit of everything. But the best thing about the whole album is the production.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best production they've ever had, from that time.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else, Greg?
Nope, that's pretty much it. It's a good record, though. I think, people should really go give it a second chance or take a look back at it.
I think so, too.
So, Greg, you tell me I should give it a second chance?
Yeah.
It's all right. It's good. Still, Kiss Kiss, just some of the vocal lines on that record are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
The best vocal performance he's done, from that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No doubt.
Yeah. So if anybody has never checked out Helloween, don't start with this album because it doesn't sound like any other album of theirs. I don't even know what album to start with because I like them all.
Definitely not the last one. The last one is the heaviest.
Really? You got to start at the beginning with Walls of Jericho.
No, because Kai's vocals are kind of weird for people to kind of get into, I think, especially nowadays.
That album's so thrashy, though.
It is, but
love it.
I would say Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1.
Yeah.
How could you go wrong with that one?
Yeah, either that or Part 2.
Okay.
But I like the sound on Part 1's way better. The production, everything sounds way better on that album for some weird reason. But yeah, all right. So don't get Chameleon first. Get Keeper 1 or 2, or maybe try Walls of Jericho, whatever. And let us know what you think about Helloween.
Or you could pick up the Best, the Rest, and the Rare. That's a pretty good compilation.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not bad. All right. So you want to talk about the Ghost Ship album?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm not broadcasting this. I usually have pictures and things set up here, so I can just. But we're not broadcasting live, so I'll have to put that in later.
I forgot about that. Cool. I can relax a little bit and think about things so I don't stutter.
No, because I'm not editing this, so just keep going.
Oh, well, excuse me, Ramona. I'm sorry you can't be bothered.
Hurry up. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to ask you, Troy, because I thought about this earlier. Do you play any instruments?
I used to play the trumpet for 13 years. I dabbled with the guitar over time. I've even written guitar lines. But with the group I'm in now, no.
Yeah, no.
In Cold Steel, I've written actually some guitar lines. And I've actually played the trumpet on the Cold Steel debut record. Mm-hmm. I did. It was bizarre. But Yeah. So yeah, but right as of now, no, it's just vocalizing. Just different voices and stuff. So
interesting.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I just still find it funny that all you musicians come up with the music and you just come up with the lyrics. That's just crazy to me.
What's really interesting though, obviously there's different ways of writing songs, and what amazes me are the songwriters who will write the lyrics first and then plug them into the song. Like how do you do that? That's so much more complex to do it that way. Complicated, I should say.
To me, that seems easier.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. Who knows? But either way, it's fun.
Like with stuff. Go ahead.
I gotta agree with Troy there because I think you run into some of that with Maiden when Bruce first came in, and I'm not saying he does a bad performance. The songs are great. It's just you hear him get a little speedy to hurry up and get these lines out, and Steve wanted him to sing it like it was written, and it's just too many words for certain parts of the song.
That's true.
Yeah. So I can definitely see how it would be harder that way. Yeah.
Which way? To write them after or before?
Write them before and then write the song around that. Yeah.
I don't know. Just for my own stuff, I was trying to write lyrics, and I'm not a writer anyway, so I don't know what I'm doing, and it's hard for me to try to fit words in. But if I do it the other way, write the words first, and I have the music in my head. Not that I can play it. I could just tell my friend, "Hey, it goes like this," kind of thing, and he might kind of get it. But to me, that just seems easier. I don't know. That's why I'm amazed. That's why I'm amazed at when how you write your lyrics over the music. How do you know? How do you want the story to go? That it's going to fit with that song.
I don't know how I could do it. I just do it. And then besides that, writing a song is a story.
Right.
Right. A self-contained story. And what I've been doing with them is writing. A story is the album, or a part of the story is the album.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just have been able to do it. It just blows me away. I just don't know how. I just do it.
Yeah.
Ideas come to the head, and boom, you just do it. So I don't know. Maybe other people are different. I don't know.
Looks like Greg's in a fight with a ghost. What's going on over there, Greg?
The dog's got to go outside. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. Heavily edit this now. God damn. Good thing we didn't go live.
There you go.
Oh boy. We'll be right back. I'm gonna push back. Okay. This way I can stop the thing and then I'll just put it back on later. Actually, what I'm gonna do is he's back. Never mind. I'll keep this in.
What?
Less work I have to do.
Oh, okay.
All right. So now you want to talk about the Ghost Ship album?
Yeah.
For the second time. This is our second time reviewing this. Actually, I did a review on this album before you came on, Troy, with one of the older hosts, and it was terrible.
Oh.
Yeah. Not the album wasn't terrible. The review was terrible.
Oh.
And then,
wow.
I felt so bad about doing a review. I even sent it to the band, and I said, "Here's the review. Watch it, and let me know what you think about it, because I myself don't like it." So they wrote me back and kind of told me the things that I said were wrong, because all the information that I found online is apparently wrong. And, yeah. So then I said, you know what? I'll just nobody will ever see this review ever. So I was hoping that Greg or somebody else that knew a little bit more about the band, because all these members are part of other bands, and the guy that I did it with didn't know any of the other members' bands. So I was kind of on my own. I'm like, I can't review something like that. I need people to feed off of. So this will be a lot better, I hope.
Yeah. Well, I know one, was it the drummer was in Nevermore, and Matt, the guitar player, was in Warhol Dane's solo band, I believe. And God Forbid, I want to say.
Something like that, yeah. I have this all written down somewhere. I just forgot to grab it.
Ashes of Ares, too.
Yes, yep.
And drummer was directly in Ashes of Eris, and the singer guitar player, what's his name? Adam?
Yeah, yep.
He was a live guitarist for Ashes of Eris as well.
Okay.
Only live, yeah. But the drummer recorded with them. That's another great band.
Yeah, definitely. I have to get in touch with Matt Barlow somehow.
Yeah.
Because they have a new album out too, or is coming out or something, I think.
New album out.
Oh, it is out.
I think it's either out or it's about to come out.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Cause they're pretty good too. And Van Williams, the drummer of GSO, is also in that band. I think. At least he was last time I knew about it.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he is. I can't follow everything anymore. All right, so what do you think about the album, Greg?
I thought it was pretty good. You know, as you know, I'm not the biggest fan of prog metal.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I guess I'd call this progressive. But the drums are great on this. I really love the way Van Williams plays. It's certain parts have a real Nevermore feel, but he really drives the record. The rhythm section is really strong.
Right.
And about my only real complaint about it is I kind of have to be in the mood for this. And I went back and listened to their first album, and where their first album kind of has the highs and lows.
Mm-hmm.
This album's all just kind of real subdued and filled out and melodic. And it's not bad. It took me a little while at first to get into it. You got to be in the right mood for it, because if you're not calmed down enough, you're not going to enjoy the experience. But
if you're looking to punch walls, do not listen to this album, because it will not help you.
But it's really well written. I love the way it flows, and the way the songs are multi-parted. It actually reminds me in spots of Angel Rat from Voivod, which is one of my favorite albums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just some beautiful melodies on it.
Yeah, it's definitely a mellow album compared to the first album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, this reminds me a little bit of what the hell, Throne of Chaos. Did anybody ever hear that band?
Nope.
No. All right. Well, then never mind on that one. But it's if you ever hear Throne of Chaos, the album's called Los Angeles. It has a very similar feel to it, because they were like a power metal, kind of like death metal thrash band, and then they put out this album called Los Angeles, and they actually changed their name to TOC because it just sounded completely different from what they usually do, which is similar to how this album is, just very mellow and just very spacey kind of sounding, and a lot of different things going on. And that's a very good album, I think. But this album is very good. Vocalist is awesome. You know, I can't say enough about that vocalist. One of my favorites, I think, in you know, a lot of bands right now. And
he reminds me of Jeff Scott Soto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got like a raspy. There's like a little rasp in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
That little soul in his voice. I love it. I think he's great. He's pretty young, but he sounds like he's very matured.
Exactly. Yeah.
How old is he? Like 20 or early 20s?
Yeah, early 20, 21 or something like that. Yeah.
Sounds very mature. He really carries the outfit quite well.
Mm-hmm.
I love the record. I think it's great. Normally not something that that I would maybe listen to, but I was really blown away by it, and I'll definitely spin it a few times without a doubt. They're great. They're great band.
Yeah, I've been listening to it for the last month or so. I think that we've had it. I haven't stopped listening to it. So good. You know, only one song. I think maybe not the last song, but the one before that. I think that's the one I'm not too crazy about. I think it's kind of
I don't really like that song either. That's really the only song in the album that kind of seems like it's padding almost.
Right.
Yeah, that one really feels like filler.
Yeah. But like songs like Turn to Ice and Ocean Memories, Delirium, Chosen, Edge of Time, and Burn Ladder.
It was all great.
All great songs.
And Troy was talking about how he's mature with his voice, and I was thinking about that, just how lush and colorful he can be with it, like in Edge of Time. Just awesome.
Yeah. What was that? Oh, that song. Did that song remind you of Dead Heart in a Dead World?
Yes,
I
it
mean,
did.
not
That
a
was
Heart Collector off of Dead Heart in a Dead World.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with Nevermore, Troy?
Not so much.
Oh.
Yeah, I know they're a great band.
Oh.
I dabble. Not so much with Nevermore though.
Dead
I'm more thrash roots.
But
I'm a
Dead
good
Heart
contrast.
in a Dead Heart. Yeah, I know. Dead Heart in a Dead World, though. You definitely have to check that album out. That is awesome.
I will.
Yeah, I'm really in the same boat as you, Troy. It just so happens that one album I have from them, and I love it. It's great. I think it's their best record, Dead Heart and Dead.
It is, definitely is.
I'll check it out.
Dreaming Neon Black is good too, but I think Dead Heart's better.
Yeah, Dreamin' Neon Black's pretty good though. Man, I haven't listened to that record in years.
We should discuss that album next time. Well, one time, not next time.
Yeah, well, next time we got to do Bewitcher. Or
we're definitely gonna do Bewitcher. I don't know if did you listen to anything about Bewitcher yet, Troy?
No.
We mentioned it last week. Well, we'll have to send you something.
I'll listen. Sure. I'm always game.
Are you into Venom at all?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Venom or Venom Inc.
No, Venom. There is no Venom Inc. What's Venom?
No. The best way to describe this is, if Venom had their sound, but they could play like Diamond Head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if Venom, the original first few Venom albums were out and they could actually play their instruments, this would be Venom.
Yep.
I was actually surprised at how good that album is. I don't want to talk too much about it because we'll have to do it.
No, yeah, we'll see that.
But yeah, it's a very good album. So, like this GSO album, very good. I suggest everybody to go buy that album. Not album of the year. That goes to Troy. Still
really?
I told you that last week, bro.
Ah.
Yeah. Sorry, Troy. I still got to go with Voivod.
That's okay, Greg. No harm done. No bad feelings. It's all good. There's so many bands out there. There's so many good records that come out every year. Like, what do you choose? Everybody has different preferences.
Oh yeah,
great. That's what's great. What they like, what they enjoy.
Right. Yeah, it's tough. That's one thing I want.
I the dog in.
What's that? This freaking guy with his dog, man.
My dog's being good.
I know.
You need a good dog like mine.
And your dog's got the problem with the eye.
Yeah, actually, it's going down. So she might not need the surgery again.
Really?
Yeah, call the vet. They're gonna see what's going on with that.
All right.
I might not have to repeat it.
Oh,
that's good. That's good for the dog too.
So
you don't want to go through all that trouble again.
No, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Any type of surgery for animal or human, it's.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're near your eye, forget it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I got something with my eyes. I don't know if you ever heard of a thing called something spindles. I don't know, but if they take like a picture of inside my eye, you can actually see through my pupil. Like you can shine a light and it just goes right through.
Wow.
So I got something.
That's bizarre.
Yeah,
wow.
So I have to get it checked on every once in a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll be blind one day probably.
Oh, don't say that.
Hopefully it's not soon.
Not good for anybody to be like
no. So we'll see what happens with that. And I already got the floaters in my eyes, so that drives me nuts enough as it is.
Yeah, I hate that.
Getting old, you know how it is, Troy.
Oh, yeah. I'm a lot older than both of you put together.
Not that much older. I'm almost 40.
Oh, I'm almost 50.
Almost. Yeah, I know.
Come on.
And Greg's the baby of the group. He's how old are you? Like 30-something?
32.
32. God.
30, 40, 50. There you go. 3 decades.
All right. So what else do you want to talk about? Anything else? Or just going to be a short show?
Now we can talk about other stuff. I don't know. I thought you'd have more to say, like the history and all that. I forgot all your information was wrong.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do it again because they were actually supposed to give me a better history of the band, and I never contacted them again about doing it. I said, when they wrote me back originally, I said, give me something, and they never did.
Oh, okay.
I hear live they're excellent.
I could see that. Yeah.
That's what I heard. I have a friend of mine that has played with their band. That did like a tour, and I almost went to see them. And he just said they were just phenomenal. And when we were going, them was going on their first tour in Europe. Our guitar player, he hurt himself and he couldn't do the first run. So actually, we were considering on bringing on one of their guitar players. I don't know which one it was at the time. It's like again, I spoke to so many people in like 24 hours, but it was one of them, and either one probably would have been more than enough. They're great players, all of them. But they're fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them evolve as a band and to see where they're going to go, because there's a lot of quality to what they bring to the table as far as heavy metal is concerned. So I'm really, really interested. And you know what I'm saying? Like some bands, you'll hear them, oh, they're pretty good, they're good. But this is a band that I think, this is what their second album, right? So over the course of time, they're going to evolve and develop. And I'm really just curious to see, 2 more albums from now, what are they going to be like? Where they're going to be at. And they definitely have like the ability to be a long runner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely see that. Hope so. Not too many bands last that long nowadays.
No, you're right.
But
and being with so many especially bands that I'm in this band, but I'm in the other band, the other one, and this one, and it's just so many groups, and then people lose focus. And I think that's what happens, and then they disperse. So
that sounds like somebody I know. It sounds like a guest that's going to be on next week. That's in like 6 other bands.
That would have to be Sean Peck.
You're right. It is.
I love Sean.
He's a very funny guy. He's hilarious.
So he's going to be actually on.
Oh yeah, he'll be on.
While it's being reviewed, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. And you'll come on, right?
I'll come on. I'll let it out. I'll be objective. even though he's my friend, it won't matter. Yeah.
No, he's a good guy. I talk to him on Facebook every once in a while. Just stay stupid jokes.
He's a great guy. He's insane.
He's very insane.
All these bands, and he's older than me, and he's just, I don't know where he gets his energy. I'm tired. I get tired, just exhausted hearing him tell me all these stories. I'm like, wow, like I couldn't imagine doing any of that. How does he do it? Yeah. He's like Superman.
And then plus he just got off that tour with the thing that he's doing, the 3 Tremors. That went, I don't know where it went. It went out of the United States somewhere. He did a couple shows out there, and then he's back. And then he's got the Dennis Sherman thing, and then he's got the
Death Dealer.
Yep. With the roast
and Cage.
Yep.
And whatever else he's doing.
That's my favorite. Yeah, I'm sure he's got a 8th project going on behind the scenes. Who knows?
No doubt. Super Sean. Let's call him Super Sean.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't realize he was the vocalist on those Denner Sherman albums until you sent those to me. I mean, I've had them, but I didn't realize it. Yeah. It just never occurred to me to look up who was in the band.
Yeah, sometimes he sounds a little different on each band. He does different things. He sounds the best in Cage, I think. And then the other stuff, he does a couple different little things here and there.
The last Cage record is just insane.
I can't.
Like Ancient Evil.
Yep.
Right? And the song Ancient Evil, Cage played on Long Island. And I went there and saw him.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I saw them play, and just we hung out. We BS'd a little bit after the show, but I was, they didn't play Ancient Evil. And I'm saying, dude, what's going on? Whatever he told me at the time. But I was so disappointed. I wanted to hear that song. He goes so high in that song. It's insane.
It is.
Like, how do you do that? I can't even do that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But he sings he's in another stratosphere.
I think with every album, he tries to see how much higher he can get from the last album.
You might be right.
He's got to be doing that.
You might be right. We'll have to ask him.
That will definitely be one of the questions. So, I don't know. Anything else to talk about? What else we got? What other kind of them stories you got there?
Them? Oh.
Yeah. Or any other kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that, I don't know. You said last week you got tons of stories, so go ahead.
I do.
I could always go grab that Zappa record, too.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. What was he wants to have a Zappa segment on the show. Go ahead.
Zappa? Oh, boy.
No. Let Troy tell his story. I didn't prepare.
No, we've heard enough of Troy. Well, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. Go ahead, Greg. You don't have to hear my stories. They're boring.
No, go ahead with the them stories.
All right. I don't know. Let's see.
Before, I don't want to interrupt you, but did you see the Zappa thing, Greg? The new thing that's going on? That was one thing I wanted to talk about. There's like some kind of hologram thing.
Yeah, I don't believe that's happening now.
No,
but it is coming through. That caused a big rift in the family, actually. His two younger kids, Ahmet and Devo, were left in control of the business part of the Zappa Trust, and they've been making decisions that Dweezil and Moon don't really agree with, and they came up with this hologram tour, and they really wanted the two of them to do it. So I guess it was on hold for a few years, and I didn't hear anything more about it. I thought it was dead, but Dweezil and Moon refused outright.
No, it's definitely happening. I just saw a thing. It's 2019.
I mean, I don't know. It'd be cheaper to just sit at home and watch a classic concert. You know, it's just a hologram. It's not really seeing Frank.
Yeah.
And especially if you were going to do it with anybody, why Frank Zappa? One of the biggest parts of his live shows was improvisation during, the extended parts.
Right.
And you lose that with a hologram, obviously, because he's not really there. So.
Right. Everything's timed out already, and he's going to do what he's going to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it'd still be cool on some level, but it's not something I'd pay a ton of money for.
What do you think about the hologram thing, Troy?
I think it's just kind of gross, actually.
Yeah.
Dio's they're gonna have how many shows? Ton of shows with the hologram. I mean, for someone who's never seen Dio, I guess it's okay, but it's just, I don't know. It cheapens their existence, I think.
Yes, it does.
It cheapens it. I mean, it's just really, you do it. I get upset with stuff like that. I really do. I mean, like, the last time I just flipped out was the other night watching The Walking Dead. Did you guys see The Walking Dead? You guys watch The Walking Dead?
Yep, every week.
When I found out that, Mr. Rick is, he's not dead. He's going to make movies. They're going to make movies. They're going to milk it. They're going to have offshoots. I mean, come on, really? Stuff like that gets me upset. So when I see the hologram, these hologram shows, is that what live performances are going to be now? Holograms? I mean, obviously they have the holograms. The performance is tuned and timed just right, so it just gives a live appearance. But nonetheless, it's just leave the guys alone. They died, leave them alone. They're part of music history. You enjoy their records. I'm sure there's tribute bands for everybody. For any of these musicians that have been that deceased. Yeah. And just leave it alone. I mean, I don't know. It's just like grasping at straws. We need to make money.
Exactly. And that was one of the most fucked up things about this is that, Dweezil, he's been touring for years as Zappa plays Zappa. And he plays the guitar and he gets a bunch of guys together for different iterations during the tour. I mean, Bozio's been there, Roy Estrada, a few other people. From different eras of the Mothers or whatever, and they would play his songs live as a tribute to him. And they're trying to replace that with the hologram tour, and I really feel like they should be ashamed of themselves, honestly.
Yeah. So no KK Foster hologram. Let me just mark that down.
No. KK's gone. He's gone for good.
But if I could get Tom Savini to bring you back as a puppet, would you be down with it?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, that'd be a cool cameo.
So puppets are okay.
as a puppet. Oh man, Greg, you cracked me up.
Maybe King Diamond can bring him back to life with a little blood.
True.
See how that all works in? You want to act like me? I'll make you act like me.
Yeah, right.
Shit, there was something else I was just gonna say. Oh God, I don't remember. He kept talking. I was waiting for you to stop me. He just kept going and going and going. I don't remember. Anyway, give us a story. Maybe I'll remember.
One story. I'll give you a quick story. So, one of our performances is very interesting because everything is timed. Everything is everybody has cues. What happens, how it happens, etc. Besides playing, right? So, because it has to flow a certain way, the whole show. So when we were performing a festival, it was a small festival. It was called Heavy Ager in Ager, Denmark, northwestern part of Denmark. And we're performing. The stage is pretty small, but we're performing. We're doing our thing. And there's one particular point where, because it was too small, we couldn't really. We have an altar that for that segment.
Right.
Where the altar is on the stage, and then at one particular point, there's actors and actresses around it, and while the band's playing, it's pretty wild, pretty intense. Well, before the actors and actresses could get to the altar, I had some drunken girl decided to lay on the altar and wanted me to sacrifice her, or I should say KK sacrifice her.
Right.
And we're trying to get off, while you're playing, just get off the stage, that sort of thing. And it was funny. It was funny. Like, people were laughing. They were like, yeah, freaking out. Because they thought it was kind of like part of the show, but it wasn't.
Right.
And, but stuff like that makes things interesting because, how do you react? How do you respond to that? Like, how do you keep the show going without blowing it? And that was key. But we kept the show going, and it was pretty funny. Like, if you were there, you would have been laughing. Everybody was smiling, they were laughing. But it was cool. And then still Metal's playing, and still we got to still do the sacrifice thing. And it was a very enjoyable night for everybody. A lot of people came up to us after that one, and speak us in Danish, which a lot of them didn't speak English, so it was a little difficult. But we got the idea. They enjoyed it, so it was awesome. Had a great time.
Well, that's cool.
There you go. There's one little story for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's Troy's story of the week.
Story of the week.
You got your segment, Greg. Now Troy's got his segment on the show.
Okay, cool.
So we got something. One thing I did want to ask you: where did you come up with the KK Foster character?
So a lot of the things on the first record, well, not a lot of things, but a number of things, I have focused on how here this is an original project, but I wanted to give a tip of the hat to King with certain little things, little Easter eggs, so to speak. So the character, his name is Klaus König Fasser.
Okay.
Fasser is his title. Okay, Fasser was a title given to gravediggers in Europe back around that time period. Okay, and Klaus König is Klaus King in German. Okay, so it was like a little tip of the hat to King.
Got it.
König.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, and the funny thing is how it turned into KK Foster is because during the recording of Sweet Hollow, the woman Angela DeRitas, who played the role of Henrietta, she actually had a little bit of a difficulty saying Klaus König.
Right.
She would say König. No, it's supposed to be a German name. It's not pronounced König. So I said, you know what? Just call him KK.
Okay.
And it stuck. And no, it has nothing. It has no correlation to KK Downing.
Right.
It's just shortened for Klaus König.
Okay. All right. So, but where did you get like the idea with the hair and all the bright clothes?
Yeah. So basically, I wanted to be something different, like drastically different than the tribute that I was doing for King Diamond, with a similar name. It was originally them, the King Diamond tribute, and the logo was completely different, and I wanted to do something different. So I figured, you know what, I'll look different, I'll make a character. You know, he'll have not a similar look to King, but there was meaning, you know, like I wanted every single thing, every single aspect of KK's existence defined, all the details. Like if you look, and I researched everything. I researched everything about King and how the stage name King Diamond really doesn't mean anything. It's just it was cool, and he wanted to use it. And what does his makeup mean? It really doesn't. You know, I mean, aside from, you know, some subtle and not so subtle references towards Satanism, it really didn't have meaning. But KK had meaning. Everything about him had meaning. And I'm not saying any of that to put King down. King's King.
He just stole all his makeup from Gene Simmons, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he had that. Yeah, he had that issue with Gene. But I didn't want to have an issue with him, number one, because already there would be, you know, kind of like pointing of the finger, you know, oh, you know, King Diamond. Yeah. You were going to get that anyway. So I actually had a lot of thought, probably close to a year before we wrote anything, of just what was I going to do with makeup. Like I needed something because it's part of the character, part of the persona. And I actually went through makeup designs, and it originally was black and white. And I said, no. Everything was no, until I got to a particular design that had one inverted cross on the face. And I said, yes, it looked cool. It just looked cool. Something about it. Like, how would I make this work? And no, it can't be black and white makeup. It has to actually, there has to be meaning to it. So I developed the story.
Looked like it was burnt into your face or something.
It was. So during the very beginning of Sweet Hollow, there's a song called Forever Burns. And in that song, that's where the townspeople took him into the town of Hennesmore. And they, after he witnessed, because he was put on a trial for resurrecting his baby in the very beginning of that record, and they destroyed the baby, they brought him to town, they said, hey, you know, like, now you're going to watch your wife and, you know, the rest of your family die. And they burned Miranda and his wife, Alyssa, alive at the stake. And after that was done, they weren't finished. So they took a Celtic cross, a heated Celtic cross, and they burned it into his face and destroyed his eye as well. So he forever has to carry the shame of his family, you know, of what he did, and bearing the mark of evil. But he really isn't he's not an evil person. You know, but he has to forever wear this inverted Celtic cross burned into his face, you know, and he looks like a monster. It's almost like a Frankenstein type of figure, but he's not. He's a good guy, but he happens to have powers. He happens to have, you know, he's a warlock, so he casts spells, and he could, you know, perform resurrections, and, you know, and he has all these different types of spells that, for the most part, he tries to use for the better, you know, for the better, not for the worse. Until this last record, Man of the Seven Gables, where he does destroy everybody for killing an innocent baby.
He had meaning.
Trying to save him. But you know what? People don't view it that way, and that's how society is in real life. It's they view you, they judge you right away. They don't really take the time to really find out what's going on. They automatically chastise you as evil or whatever it may be you're talking about, and these people are like just left hung out to dry. So, you know, it's kind of like a parallel to what I was experiencing when I went through a divorce. So, I mean, I lost my family, and that's the whole story of KK is kind of like a parallel to me, but much like on steroids. You know? But, you know, but...
You didn't put no hexes and stuff on people?
Well, maybe my
ex-wife. Well, maybe.
No, I didn't do that. But, you know, so, you know, just that whole situation with KK, you know, he's my Hyde. You know, I'm Dr. Jekyll, and he's Hyde. You know, so he's sleeping right now, though. He'll come out real soon.
Oh, yeah, he will.
Yeah. And one other thing, too, I got to tell you. So when we perform, I actually... I wear this prosthetic, right,
Mm-hmm.
that has the inverted Celtic cross, and my eye, because both my eyes, right, I don't have the best eyesight. I'm actually nearsighted,
Mm-hmm.
so my left eye is worse than my right eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
So originally, when I was setting up the whole, like, what was I going to do? Maybe I'll have this one eye with a contact lens, you know, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, but you know what? All these other musicians and bands have done that already. I didn't want to do that. So I glue my eye shut. My eye's actually glued shut for the performance. My good eye. Not my bad eye, my good eye. When KK's walking on stage and he's like this, you know, with one eye, that's his bad eye. He can't see. So people are KK or whatever, you know, whatever they're doing. And now you can't see them. He's like this, you know, with the cane, so it actually adds more realism to KK's performance, you know?
Yeah. That's funny. So did you end up switching it to the other eye, or no? You keep
it has to be accurate. It has to remain.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
it's too
the
late
whole
now.
9 yards. The whole 9 yards for as long as KK
So you
is alive.
did you get a contact for the other eye at least?
No, because nothing happened to his other eye. It was just
no. But I mean for you.
Oh, for me,
Yeah.
I actually can't. I can't wear contacts on that eye. Believe it or not, I can't, because that eye is. It's, what is it called? I forget what it's called. Where it's not. It's not the surface is a little bit.
I know what you're talking about.
What is it called?
Astigmatism.
Astigmatism.
That's it. I have astigmatism in this eyeball.
Me
You
too.
figure that. You too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
In the good eye. In the bad good eye. It's the bad eye for Troy, but the good eye for KK. He's got the astigmatism, so he can't even put a contact lens in.
So you did all the research for the character, but you didn't do your own research. Yeah.
But I botched it for Troy. So Troy has to suffer. Sorry. Crazy.
The other thing I was going to ask both of you guys, has anybody seen the Helloween movie?
Yes, love it.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you didn't see it?
Not
Let me
yet.
tell you how it ends.
No.
I ruined it for everybody at my job. We were all talking about it, and I just happened to tell them.
I will
They
see
weren't
it.
going to see it anyway.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Easily the best since the first and the third one.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I'd definitely go see it. You can go wait to see it, on DVD, I think. Don't really need to go see it in the movie theater.
Jamie Lee Curtis is amazing in it, though.
Yeah. And it had some funny parts in it, too, which I thought was kind of odd for a Halloween movie, but it's still, good.
I was expecting one or two jokes because, McBride.
Yeah, you have to have a joke with something.
Yeah, the way they were thrown in, it felt like part of the natural story. I don't see anything wrong with it. Something like that were to happen in real life, you're going to have your funny moments. It's not going to be terrifying all the time, so it works.
Yeah. What about the Queen movies? Anybody going to go see that?
Yeah.
Definitely?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite rock band of all time.
What's your favorite Queen song?
What was that?
Favorite Queen song?
Oh, wow. This Flash Gordon.
Sorry. No.
I love Flash Gordon.
I love that movie. Love it.
The movie is cool. Actually, they're remaking it. It's being remade. But the soundtrack was awesome.
Out of all the Queen songs?
No, come on. Listen, the best album is Night at the Opera, hands down.
Right.
I would have loved to seen Queen during that era.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if you watch some video clips when they're performing during that era,
right,
a lot of times people booed them. They
really?
were booed. Yeah, you pick up some of the clips, listen to the audience. They boo them. And it's just, it's gross because they're like the best band, one of the best bands of all time. And I happen to love Flash Gordon. I'm sorry. I love Flash Gordon.
All right. I mean, they have a lot of questionable songs. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to say Bohemian Rhapsody, even though I listened to Bohemian Rhapsody when I was a kid. I loved it. And it wasn't even popular. Not until Wayne's World came out,
Right. Yeah.
But I was way before that. I thought it was probably the best Queen song. It is probably. I mean, as far as vocally and the way it's structured, the whole song is structured. They're geniuses, you know. So I would say that normally that song, but I'd have to say Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon. You know, come on.
It's an odd song.
I love it.
How's it go? How's it go? Sing it for me.
Flash.
Yeah.
But they have all those layered harmonies like they do in Bohemian Rhapsody. Right? So it just sounds so stellar. I love it. I can't wait to hear that again. Watch, they ruin that song.
Oh, sure.
When they redo that song, it's going to be botched.
They can't redo that song.
No way.
No. That's not a song
I would love to really know factually how they layered all those vocals. You know, I mean, you see like little, like YouTube clips here and there, but I mean, can you imagine just sitting there watching them layer those tracks with tape back in the day?
Back in the day with tape.
Because now you could do stuff like that easily, you know, with digital audio workstations and a mic, and you could do it in any room. In any location. I mean, but back then, you know, acoustics played a huge part in how the sound was, you know, sculpted. Yeah. And someone asked me in an interview, or I should say asked KK, in an interview, like if you could be in one place at one time regarding music, where would it be? And I said, when they were recording Night at the Opera, the day that they were recording all the layered vocal tracks for Bohemian Rhapsody. That I wish I could have been there, just experience that phenomenal musical experience, life-changing it would have been.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing else like that at the time.
No,
nothing. Especially with those high notes they do in that middle section there with the Galileo. That was terrible. But you know what I mean.
I totally get it. You know,
it's crazy. What about you, Greg? Any favorite Queen song, or you don't like Queen?
I like Queen. Favorite song, even though Freddie Mercury doesn't sing on it, I'm in love with my car. I love that song.
It is a good song. I do like that song.
It's a good song.
I think my favorite, Spread Your Wings.
That's a good one. I mean, Queen's a really good band. I like one of their influences, Mata Hoople, a lot better than I like Queen, but you know, Now I'm Here, that's a good song. I love Son and Daughter off the first album. That's a good one, too. I really don't think Queen put out a bad record. There's some I like less than others, but they were always really solid, man.
It's a Kind of Magic, I think. I think that was a bad one, isn't it?
I hate that song, Bicycle Race, though. Absolutely.
You know, like bicycle,
Really?
bicycle.
Oh, God, I can't stand that.
I dig that song.
So campy and awful.
Who cares? It's a good song, yeah.
What about a non-Queen song with Freddie in it? And for me that would be that song Barcelona, where he sang with that opera singer. You ever hear that song?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's just phenomenal. You got to check it out. It's called Barcelona.
Is it on an album or?
It is. I don't remember the name of the album, but he does this duet with this opera singer. Phenomenal. Just like life-changing to listen to it. You got to check it out. It's called Barcelona, the name of the song. I don't know if that's the name of the record, but
no, that's not a Queen album.
It's not a Queen album. No.
No,
I'll look it up.
I'll definitely have to look it up because I have all the albums. I just don't recognize that.
Yeah, Barcelona. The song is called Barcelona. Freddie Mercury and Montserrat Caballé. Barcelona.
Okay.
Great. So you could pull it up if you just put in Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Barcelona on YouTube. You'll see there's a live performance. Fantastic song. They did a great job. And he could interface. He doesn't have to, he didn't just have to do rock. He interfaced with this opera singer, It's just incredible. One of the best singers of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's why I'm interested to see this movie. And that's actually got a lot of bad reviews.
Did it really?
Really?
Yeah, it did. A lot of bad press on this.
Was the press as bad as Rockstar?
Oh God!
I like that movie though. I like Rockstar. I'm sorry.
It wasn't that bad. It's not as bad as people say it was.
No.
Not at all.
No.
I don't know why they think it's so
loosely
bad.
based on Rick Rollins.
Yeah.
Joining Priest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be, more, but I don't know what the heck happened, in between there to kind of like, get away from that. Oh, I think because Judas Priest didn't want to have anything to do with it after a while, right? Or something, maybe?
You might be right.
Probably, yeah.
But, yeah.
I enjoyed that, too.
Yeah, that movie wasn't bad at all. But people hate it. And people, don't like this Queen movie because I think, I was listening to another podcast today, I think because they said that the movie's kind of dark and it doesn't have like any happy kind of endings to it, maybe. Because, Freddie had AIDS and all that kind of stuff. And then, he had a bad time with all that stuff, and plus he was gay and, everything. So it wasn't like a happy movie, Right. It actually showed that he was kind of almost miserable in a way, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so. I think we're definitely going to go see it this weekend, though.
Enjoy it.
Everybody I've talked to has loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, you know how critics are. Those people that review things, you can't trust those people.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit. We review things, Greg. At least try to, anyway.
Well, it's the same, but different. You know what I'm saying? We're not disingenuous.
Right. Yeah. We give our real opinions on things.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens next week.
Oh, and Sean's going to be on, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Hey, as long as you guys can be nice, I'll be the bad cop.
Maybe Sean and I can have a high-pitched screaming contest and blow up the mics. Who's going to blow up the mics first?
That's awesome. My only request is when you do it, you both have to say sing the word Grandma. Yep.
Shit.
Awesome.
Yes, please do that.
My daughter's yelling down.
That was awesome. Thank you, Troy.
No problem. I crack myself up when I do it. I sound and look like an idiot, but
well, I think we should end on a high note, and that was the high note.
Yep.
One more time. Do it one more time.
Okay, how about let me do another part of that song. All right, ready?
Yeah.
How about that?
And that's it for this week, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us on this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it's. I just heard your daughter there.
I woke in the beast.
That's too funny. But, yeah, thank you very much for joining us again, Troy.
You got it.
Yep. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We enjoy having you. And
oh yeah.
What was that? The dog?
Yeah, Say hi, Naya.
Hey, Naya, you're welcome back too next week.
You're welcome back too, little girl.
All right. Okay. All right. So thank you very much, and we'll be on again next week. And that's all I got to say. We'll be with Sean Peck, and we'll be talking about the 3 Tremors with Tim Ripper Owens and Harry Conklin. And yeah, that'll be interesting. All right.
Because this is in November, it's Peck November.
Peckvember.
Peckvember.
There we go.
Okay.
Last month was Pecktober, so now
yeah.
It's Peckvember.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny because he had like 3 releases coming out. I think it was last year or the year before or something like that.
He's like a mad scientist. This guy, I love him.
He's funny. It's gonna be a good episode. Definitely gonna be fun. All right, everybody. Thank you very much, and we will. Yep. See you next week. Toodaloo.